Hi, everyone. It's Kai Alexander Morgan, host of the Original Sin podcast. We are brought to you today by True Crime Story 911. Today, we're speaking to Dr. Deborah Hall, who is the cousin of Amber Spradlin. On June 18, 2023, Amber was brutally murdered. Her body was found in a prominent dentist's home. Hello, Dr. Deborah Hall. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So today we wanted to talk about Amber and who she was and what happened to her. And can you tell us about Amber, who Amber was?
Yeah, Amber, she was my second cousin, but we have a very close family and more like a little sister to me or even, my own daughter. I don't have any children, but she's more like a little sister or a daughter to me. I've known her since she came into the world. I was about 17 years old when she was born. And the last 17 years of her life, she lived 2 doors down from me. So we would see each other at least 2 or 3 times a week, have dinner together or go out shopping together or do something together. And she was being raised by her grandparents. So her grandmother and my mom were sisters and best friends. So we did everything together, every birthday, every holiday, every Sunday dinner.
Wow.
When someone was sick, we all came together for that. So we were very tight, very close.
So Amber had been working at this place called the Brickhouse. Can you tell us what the Brickhouse is?
Yeah, the Brickhouse restaurant and bar here in Prestonsburg. They serve just, hamburgers and pizzas and bar food. And this is a small town, so we don't have a lot of restaurants, but she was working there as a hostess.
Mm-hmm.
And she started working on May the 18th, 1 month before she was murdered. But she would just work maybe 2 or 3 days a week, and she would do 4-hour shifts there. And Amber had some issues with anxiety and depression, and I think she had a little bit of maybe some Asperger's syndrome too. So she had a difficult time getting along and fitting in at times, and so she wasn't really able to be full-time employed. So this was just a little job to get her out of the house, to have something to do and to be social. So her grandparents, they had died, and they left her a little trust fund set up, and the trust fund had purchased a house for her. And so, she had money in order to pay for her bills and her food and everything. So this little job, it wasn't something that she had to have. She just wanted something to do.
Okay, I understand. All right. And so in your town, Prestonsburg, so the Brickhouse is like the main central station, the main restaurant there, or the biggest restaurant in that area?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Did she enjoy working there?
Oh, she loved it, and she was really good at it too. Everybody who saw her there for the month that she was there said that she just glowed and bounced around and was very friendly and very helpful.
Okay, so let's get into what happened, or the story, what happened that night. So it involves Amber. I wanted to ask, before we go into that, how did she know Roy, and what's Roy's last name?
Roy Kidd.
Roy Kidd. Okay, I have it right here. Roy Kidd. How did she know Roy Kidd and Josh Mullins and MK?
She knew Roy Kidd. He was an X-ray tech at the office where I worked, and she volunteered at the office for 3 years. And so she became acquainted with him there. She'd known him for about 20 years, 25 years probably. And they were pretty good friends. He'd kid around with her and give her a hard time and flirt with her a little bit. And she just enjoyed it. And so even after she quit working at my office, she stayed in contact with him and would see him out when she'd go out to eat or out to the bar or anything. She would run into him. And so they were on very good, friendly terms. And actually, Roy is a very good friend of mine, too. As far as Josh Mullins, MK McKinney, and Mike McKinney, she really didn't know them. Mike McKinney is co-owner of the Brickhouse, and Josh Mullins and his son MK, they were there at the Brickhouse quite often too. So in the month that she worked there, she kind of became acquainted with them, but she really didn't know them.
Okay, and on the night of the 17th, or that evening, she was invited out by Roy. Is that correct? That she had a crush on Roy. Roy had asked her out.
They had plans to meet out. Yeah, she kind of had a little crush on Roy. I think he was really nice to her and gave her a lot of attention.
Okay. And what ended up happening is that after she left her job, she met Roy Kidd at the Seasons Inn. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and what is the Seasons Inn there at your?
It's a little restaurant and bar it's outside of the city. It's more out in the county.
Okay.
And they stay open a little bit later.
Okay, and was it their plan for them to meet up with Mike McKinney, MK McKinney, and Josh Mullins, or did they just happen to meet at the Seasons Inn?
Yeah, they just happened to meet up. Yeah, it wasn't anything planned to meet up with them.
Okay, and so can you take it from there? What exactly happened? They stayed there the entire night and talked and had drinks, and can you tell us what happened when they came in and started talking together, and what
Roy and Amber met at Seasons Inn, and Mike McKinney, MK McKinney, the son, and Josh Mullins, and Josh had a girlfriend with him. They were all there at Seasons Inn also.
Okay.
Roy and MK were second cousins, and they hadn't seen each other in over 10 years. So they started talking, and when the bar closed at 2 a.m., MK wanted to continue his conversation that he was having with Roy. So they invited everyone to go on back up to their house, which was just a couple of miles from the bar. So they all got into Dr. McKinney's vehicle. Amber left her vehicle there parked at Seasons Inn, and they got into Mike McKinney's vehicle, and the six of them went to Mike McKinney's house, and he had a little bar and gathering area in the basement of his house. So they went down there to have drinks and just, to continue the party and the company. And they partied until about 5:30 in the morning. And at that time, there was a 911 call placed by MK McKinney. And he was saying that there was someone in the house that was drunk, and they were having a hard time controlling him. He had fallen and busted his chin. He was bleeding profusely, and will you all just come and get him?
But someone got on the phone and told him not to come. Is that correct?
Yes, Dr. McKinney, Mike McKinney got on the phone, and he said, this is Mike McKinney. There's no life-threatening injuries. We don't need you. We'll call you back if we do. And he got off the phone, and no one ever showed up from 911, or no one called back to check on things.
So they just took his word for it, and they didn't send an ambulance, they didn't send the police, they didn't send anybody to check to make sure everything was okay?
Correct.
Okay. And exactly what happened to Roy? He fell and he busted his head open. Is that from him drinking, or?
Yeah, he was really intoxicated.
Okay. All right, and they were able to treat him at the house, from what you know?
Yeah, I think they just gathered him up out of the floor after he'd fallen and put him in a bed, and I think he finally laid down and went to sleep.
Okay. All right. So they continued talking after they put Roy to bed. Like you said, the first 911 call was at 5:30, and then from what I have here, the party settled down about 6:30 or 7. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then everybody went to sleep, and Amber Spradlin, she lay down on the couch around 7 o'clock, and the police believe that she was murdered about 7:30, 7:15, 7:30. Is that correct?
Sometime about that, yes.
Okay, and it was a brutal murder, right?
Yes, she was stabbed 11 times in the head, the face, and the neck. The blade of the knife was broken off in the side of her neck, in her carotid artery.
Wow. And
I think it transected her cervical spinal cord also. And she was on blood thinners too, because she'd had a history of a blood clot. So, she didn't stand a chance.
Okay. Sorry to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So the second 911 call was made at 10:30. About 3 hours passed. Do you know now what happened in those 3 hours, or what the police theorize happened in those 3 hours? Were they like trying to clean up the scene, or what were they trying to do?
Yeah, it was Dr. McKinney, M.K. McKinney, and Josh Mullins. And they spent the next 3 hours taking down security cameras, getting rid of DVRs. They removed a hard drive out of a laptop computer. They wiped up and cleaned up some blood, as evidenced by the DNA finding blood in various sinks in the house.
Right.
They got rid of the handle of the knife, the murder weapon, and they got rid of bloody clothes that M.K. McKinney had on. And they got M.K. cleaned up and put him on the road to get him out of there as quickly as possible.
Okay, and MK is Michael McKinney's son, so MK stands for Michael McKinney III?
Yes.
That's who he is, okay. And so the police believe that he is the one that stabbed Amber? Or
yes, he's
was it
charged
Josh?
with first-degree murder.
Okay, so he was the one that stabbed Amber?
Yes.
Okay. And Josh and his father, Josh Mullins, which they were second cousins, is that what you said? Or him and Roy were second cousins?
Roy and MK were second cousins.
Josh was a family friend?
Yes, just a family friend that the McKinneys had taken in and raised him. So he lived there in the house with them.
Okay, and I wonder while all this was going on, where was Roy? Was Roy still passed out?
Yeah, he was passed out in the basement.
Okay. All right. And so they made a second 911 call about 10:30, and Dr. Mike McKinney reported that he had a dead girl on the couch. They discovered that he had called 3 people prior to the 911 call, one of them being the chief of the police, who was his friend and his cousin with Roy and MK.
Correct, yes.
And why did he call the chief of police instead of 911? Eventually he called 911, but why did he had to call the chief of police to come over to his house?
Yeah, that's a good question. We'd like to know the answer to that ourselves. The chief of police, he did speak with the state police at one time, but he's refused to speak to them anymore. And he said that he would take a lie detector test, but then he said that he wasn't going to do that.
Is the chief of police under investigation for some kind of tampering with the evidence by coming out there?
Yeah, he's not. He's not being investigated. They've worked on investigating this case for the last 13 and a half months prior to the arrest.
Right.
And while it's very suspect what happened, we don't have any firm proof or firm knowledge of anything that he did do wrong. It's just kind of speculation. But there are a few things that he has changed his story about. And, if you're telling the truth, it's easy to keep your story straight. If you're telling a lie, then you sometimes mix your story up and tell it a little differently. So there are some things that he has told differently and some other things that he has lied about that we know, which I can't really talk too much about that, but it will all come out at trial.
Okay. All right. And so on the 3rd of this month of August, 2024, the police went to the Brickhouse and arrested Dr. McKinney.
That was on June the 30th.
June the 30th.
I mean, July 30th. I'm sorry, July the 30th. Yeah.
July 30th. Okay. And they also arrested Josh Mullins and his son, MK. Were they all arrested for murder, or what were the charges on all 3 of them?
MK McKinney has a first-degree murder charge.
Okay.
All 3 of them have 8 Class D felonies for tampering with evidence or planting evidence.
Okay. All right. And at this present time, are they all still in jail, or they bailed out?
Dr. McKinney bailed out on a $250,000 cash bond, and he is on a GPS ankle monitor. And last week we had a hearing, and the judge decided that he can leave and go to his office Monday through Friday from 9:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. He did have his dental license suspended until the case is over, until the trial is over. So he's not allowed to touch patients, but he can do day-to-day work there in his office. Almost all of his staff quit. So he's trying to hire new staff, and he's trying to hire a new dentist to come into his office and work. So that's what he's supposed to be doing there. But he can't. He can go from home to there. He's allowed to go to the bank daily for an hour and back to his office, and back home. And he has to be back home by 5 p.m. Josh Mullins is still in jail right now. His bond was reduced from $100,000 cash to $50,000 cash.
Okay.
And I've heard that he will be bonded out today. He too will be on a GPS ankle monitor. So this isn't a home incarceration, but it's a controlled, monitored release is what it is. And M.K. McKinney is still lodged in the Floyd County Jail, and he has a $5 million full cash bond.
Okay. All right. Let's take a break. This is Kyle Alexander Morgan. Thank you for watching the Original Sin Podcast. Make sure you watch this video to the very end. And also, if you appreciate me doing this type of content, let me know by gently tapping that like and subscribe button, and let's dive back into this episode. Thanks so much. All right. So who do you think is going to be bailing Josh out? Do you think there's going to be Dr. McKinney? Can he even do that with his status?
Yes, it's Dr. McKinney. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yes.
He can still do that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And let me ask you, so he was a prominent person in the community, or he may still be a prominent person until this is, the case is finalized and closed. Mm-hmm. If he's convicted or he's found not guilty. But was he the only dentist? Was when you guys say prominent and you have a small town, was he the biggest dentist office in that town? Or
we have a few other dentists in town, but he provided a service, mini dental implants. So he provided a service that the other dentists in town don't provide.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah, he was pretty popular for that.
Okay. All right. What has been going on since they've been arrested? What was the first thing that happened the first night once they were arrested? When was the next court hearing? Can you tell us from the beginning what exactly happened from the time they were arrested?
Yeah, so they were arrested on July the 30th that afternoon. And then on July the 31st, there was an arraignment in the Floyd County Courthouse. So each of them were before the judge, and they pleaded not guilty, and they had their bonds set. And Dr. McKinney bailed out after 2 nights in jail. So the others, if they've been in there, the other 2 have been in there about 3 weeks. They are being held in a cell by themselves. They're not out with general population. We had a hearing on Monday where Josh Mullins' bond was reduced, and they decided Dr. McKinney could go to the office. And there was one additional charge added for planting a knife in a couch. So they were all 3 arraigned on the 8th felony charge at the hearing on Monday.
Okay.
And kind of as a side note, M.K. McKinney's attorney had filed a motion to dismiss and a motion for bond reduction, but he had cited 3 cases that didn't actually exist. So the judge found him in contempt of court, and he had to pay $500 fine to the courts for doing that.
So he actually lied and made up cases in order to try to get his client off?
Yeah, well, that wasn't the attorney's story. He had a different story about it. He said that he had these case numbers in there as placeholders until he completed the motion, and he accidentally sent the wrong motion with the placeholders in it. But the judge looked him in the eye and said, "I don't believe you. I think you used artificial intelligence to create this," and fined him.
Okay. And at this point, what's scheduled for the future? Is there any future court dates coming up?
Yeah, well, Dr. McKinney has hired another defense attorney to lead MK's defense. Stephen, I think his name is Stephen Romines from Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
So Stephen Romines, we suspect that in the next couple of weeks he will be filing a bond reduction motion for MK, is what we expect, but we don't have a date for that yet. The next scheduled activity is October the 24th, and that's going to be a status hearing on the case to make sure that the defense has gotten what information they need from the prosecution and to see if everybody's ready to go to trial. And I'm assuming at that time they will set a date for the trial sometime after the first of the year.
Okay. Now, personally, would you be okay if MK was let out of jail on bond?
Oh, absolutely not. He is dangerous. He's a danger to society and a danger to himself. And, he's facing life in prison with no parole. So, we have a great concern that he would try to run. And we already know that his parents will do anything and everything they can to cover up for him and help him get away with something. So, we're hoping and praying that he does not have his bond reduced.
Okay. And can we back up just a little bit and talk about MK? Yesterday on the phone, we spoke briefly about this case, and you were telling me about MK and about not necessarily his childhood, but his demeanor and what he does and how he acts, but no one would come forward. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's lots of rumors, and not just rumors. I've had other people speak to me about some of his activity, but they don't want to come forward and have their name involved because they say that they're afraid of these people. But the rumors are that he had a history of torturing and mutilating animals. Rumored that he was caught skinning cats at college at Morehead State University. He was a member of a fraternity, and apparently it's rumored that he was kicked out of his fraternity because the fraternity brothers noticed that there were lots of dead animals showing up in the trash at the fraternity house, and they figured out that he was killing and torturing and mutilating animals. Wow. And the rumors are that his father knew about this, but he would just go and write a check to whoever, whoever's animal was hurt, and it would all go away.
Okay, so his father has always protected him,
right,
through these episodes that he's had throughout his life.
Yes,
even covering up for him, trying to cover up this murder of Amber. Do you know what Amber wanted for the future? She had just started that job at the Brickhouse. What did she want for her future? Do you know what she wanted or what she had planned?
She loved to travel. She loved concerts. She really wanted to meet somebody, and she loved children. She wanted to have a baby. She was really hopeful for all of that. Those were her biggest hopes and her biggest dreams. October 7th, this would have been her 40th birthday coming up.
It's okay.
We were going to take a cruise for her 40th birthday. See, she had been saddled down at home for the last few years because her grandparents were elderly and they were ill, and she was there to take care of them.
Right.
She'd cook for them and go to the grocery and help them with their doctor appointments and their medications. And that kept her really busy, and she didn't get to get out a lot and do a lot of things. So I just would always tell her that it wasn't going to be forever, and that me and her would have a lot of time in the future to do things and go places together.
Okay. I am so sorry for your loss.
Thanks.
Let me ask you, Dr. Hall, if there is anything that, if MK was standing in front of you right now, is there anything that you would want to tell him?
I don't know why he took her life. And I mean, he's ruined so many lives, and I just don't know why.
Do you really expect him to come clean and eventually and tell, of course he's going to tell his story, with a new defense attorney being hired. Mm-hmm. But do you really think the truth will come out about why he killed her, shortly after she laid down on the couch?
No, I don't think. They've not talked to the police any at all. I mean, they've not even tried to offer up an explanation or to blame anybody else. So they're not going to talk.
Okay. And lastly, I wanted to talk about Roy. And Roy was in the house when they did all this cleanup and everything, and he had passed out and was drunk and had busted his head and stuff. So it's understandable that he was out. Did at any time you suspect Roy, since he had been in that house with them, did you suspect everyone, or did you just suspect MK when this first happened, when you first heard about it?
Yeah, well, I didn't even know these other people. I mean, I didn't know that there was an MK or a Josh Mullins that existed. And I knew of Dr. McKinney, but I didn't know about the other ones of them. And whenever I first heard this, it blew my mind. My first thought was, well, they're wrong. She hasn't been murdered. We just have to get to her and get her to a hospital and get her some help, and she'll be okay. Even though they told me she was dead. But and then they started trying to say that they thought Roy had did it because he had blood all over him from where he'd injured himself. And I just couldn't believe that, because I know Roy very well. I've known him for 30 years, and he doesn't have a mean bone in his body. He's a good guy, and I knew it couldn't be true. And after they started asking some questions, it wasn't but within just a couple of days that we found out that, MK was likely the one who did this.
Okay, and Roy had been cooperating with the police. Out of all of them, he was the only one that was cooperating with the police.
Yeah, he and Josh Mullins' girlfriend that was there, she cooperated also.
Okay. Now, I think that we covered everything, Amber's murder and who she was and what she wanted for the future. Is there anything that we did not cover that you want to speak about right now?
Well, I always like to thank everyone on our Facebook page, our Justice for Amber Facebook page. We're almost 30,000 members strong now, and our little town has had a history of covering up or ignoring people, women who have been murdered or who have gone missing. And so it's hard for anything like that to happen with this. I've got every bit of confidence in Brent Turner, our Commonwealth attorney, and in the Kentucky State Police. But, I think that there was an attempt at a cover-up before the state police got involved with the case. And but I always like to thank all of those people for all of their support and all of their help. And, of course, I'm thankful to God because there's been a lot of prayers go up that these people would end up paying for what they've had to do, what they did to Amber.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Hall, for coming on our show. We really appreciate you being here today. We hope that justice will prevail for Amber. And like you said, be sure to visit Facebook page, Justice for Amber, and to get more information on this case. Thank you, Dr. Hall. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.